Hello everyone, this is another edition of Tuesday Morning Shenanigans, and we are inside Maui Comic Books and Collectibles, or is it comic book? Let me check that one more time. Comics and Collectibles. It's been a while since I've been in here. Your one-stop shop for comics and collectibles when you're in Maui, because it's in the name. So, I am Jaren of the Rave Corner, and joining me is my good friend and special guest. We have Jaren.
Hey, how you doing?
So I have you on the show because, well, before you made your first appearance on Tuesday Morning Shenanigans, I'm pretty sure that some might have wondered, what's the deal? Why is this guy so cool? So let's get right into it. I did check your Instagram page, and you have tons and tons of, you pretty much embody what I like to call somebody who really does appreciate movies and TV shows.
I do.
In the form of, you like to I wouldn't say cosplay to the max, but you have cosplayed, but even when you're not cosplaying, you do like to have your own set of maybe photo or movie imitations of specific scenes. So let's go all the way back to what started your big fascination into this form of entertainment.
Well, I have to say that when I saw Jurassic Park as a kid, it terrified me, and it was like very entertaining to watch. And I didn't understand any of the science because I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I was just there with a VHS tape while the adults went out and hung out and everything.
Are you telling me that it was your babysitter?
The TV was my babysitter. It was
like the cable guy.
It was. I was and this is when I was like the only child then, because then my younger brother and sister, not yet.
Right. Of course.
So the TV was the TV was literally my babysitter. No adults were watching me, and they just plumped me in front of the television, and there was like the VCR cable wasn't working, and so I just ran over and I saw the VHS cover of Jurassic Park, and I popped it in, and I was just I had a big fascination over dinosaurs for like a long period of time. That was just kind of a trend, and it just blew me away of how real these dinosaurs just looked, because that's what filmmaking was all about, was having like these animatronics and bringing the things that we can't really show you in real life or even to this time period on the big screen.
Yeah, I totally get that, because I remember being taken to one dinosaur exhibit, but it was around when I was as young as 3 or 4 years old. But back then, all I remember was my innocence of childhood. As I stepped through the door, I see all of these animatronic dinosaurs, and for that one moment, I thought they were real.
Yeah.
So I thought, how is this possible?
Exactly. And I'm not sure how long you've have you lived on Maui all your life?
Born and raised.
Born and raised. Okay, so I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember the dinosaur animatronics they had in Queen Ka'ahumanu Center?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was like mind blowing. I watched Jurassic Park and I went straight to the mall. I'm like, whoa. Dream come true.
Yeah. I'm gonna show just how much I remember it. My favorite exhibit was the Parasaurolophus in front of JCPenney.
JCPenney. Oh
yes.
My God.
But where that dinosaur was, it is now a playground for kids. But that's where the exhibit was, and next to it was its nest, and you see the little dinosaurs kind of jiggling inside the egg.
The animatronic eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's go into your favorite genres. What are they?
Favorite genre. I gotta say, I always have a real big soft spot for the horror movies. In my middle school years, my friend Nohea, he kind of like dove into, helping me explore a lot of great horror movie classics, and that's only because I couldn't watch them because like my family, they're Catholic, and at a young age, my cousin came over and she showed me Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, which was my first recent memory of a horror movie, and that scared the living daylights out of me. I couldn't sleep. My mom was pissed, and I was like so curious. I was like, what did I watch with my cousin? And so years kind of went by, and then I would see like reruns of like different installments of the Halloween movies, and me and my friend Nohea, we found all of them, on VHS tapes, and this is when you could actually get away with going to the rental store and renting and buying without them checking ID. I mean, I don't know if it was a height thing, but yeah, no, we watched a lot. And you know, a lot of people are so lucky nowadays to have something like Netflix because they could get away with watching anything now.
There are no parental controls on Netflix, are there?
No, there's not. Unless you set it, which is, you know, that's something up to them.
So what is it about the horror genre that just fascinates you? Is it the thrill of knowing you'll be scared, or...
Yeah, it's almost, I treat it like a roller coaster, you know? You go in knowing that you're going to be scared. Sometimes you have fun with it. And it's also fun when they throw in some humor. And the thing that I was like, you know, not every installment to like big horror genre icons are great. Like Freddy, Michael, Jason, they all have a lot of movies, and not all of them are great. You can see all the flaws, and I think that's what makes it fun. You know, that makes it fun, that makes them iconic, and those are like the characters you want to see. Just kind of like how, you know, the Marvel and DC universe has done for, you know, comic book fans and, you know, ongoing action movie fans. You know, that's what the horror genre kind of brought to me. And, you know, those are the icons that kind of still hold a soft spot in my heart.
That is the most common reason, or should I say, answer everyone gives when it comes to horror genre. But for me, I just didn't quite get it. Well, only because I was a really big scaredy cat since I was young. The earliest thing that I remember watching that terrified the heck out of me, which I'll admit it's hard for me to go back, is number 1, Michael Jackson's Thriller. And number 2 would be Tales from the Crypt, only on a few select episodes. But you know that entrance, the intro that they do, when the camera goes from the gates down deep into the mansion. Yeah. That and the music always terrified me. And if you were to play it right now, you'll see me glancing like this, and then I'll go a little bit like that.
You make me really want to watch it because I only know the intro. I've never actually seen Tales from the Crypt, the episodes or the movies.
The running gag is that in every tale, everyone dies. There's at least one person that dies, but his one shaking his head. But sometimes you'll think that the deaths are unfair. A few times you'll think it's probably justified. Others it just catches you off guard. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, are there any kind of genre that is not your cup of tea? Something that is
not my cup of tea.
Something that you try to like, but you just can't really connect with it.
This is very hard because besides just the horror genre, I like a lot of movies. I like a lot of different genres, and I'm very, very open. If I'd have to say, you know, it's not specific, but it's the teen adapted book ones. They're so predictable, and I try to give it a watch all the time. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like some of them, but then there's just some of them, like the way they play out. And I'm gonna have to say this with the Nicholas Sparks one too, is that you know, they have the same exact idea. They restructure the whole thing, but you know where they're going with this. So there's death and love, and that's all you can really, you know, go with the whole sad dramatic thing, because, you know, in the end we all know that we'll all look back and say, hey, Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. And then now it's so modernized and it's just so, I don't know, I feel it's kind of a slap in the face. It almost feels blasphemy because there's just, I don't know, we can redo the structure of the same topic so many times to where you're like, I think I'm just going to go live a real love life.
So, since we're talking about William Shakespeare, I assume you weren't too thrilled with the modern adaptation of Othello, or should I say O?
You know, I'm going to be honest, I didn't see that one.
You did not?
I know what you're talking about. That's the Micaiah Pfeiffer, John Hartnett
exactly.
one, right?
Yeah, no, Julia Stiles.
I did not see that. I did not see that. I saw the Leonardo DiCaprio remake to Romeo and Juliet. As much as I'm a big fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, I did not like that.
I did find it strange that, well, unlike Romeo and Juliet was the only modern remake where they were speaking in ye old English. Mm-hmm. So they had that monologue, and the first thing that got me confused was when they say brandish thy sword, and then they pull out their silver waxed pistol. Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's so hard to digest stuff, especially with, you know, very old, you know, languages like that, especially like a dead language. And I have the same thing with there's this recent movie that came out called this recent indie horror movie that came out called The Witch, and they use old pilgrimage language.
Oh.
And I was in the theater, and not everybody was vibing with it because they had no idea that like this was the dialogue written for the movie.
Something so, like to the hunt the movie.
Yeah, yeah. And you know the movie was being told through like old pilgrimage, old folks tale, style of it. So by the end of the movie, I'm like the one like, yay, that's such a great movie. It felt like a Kubrick movie, and then like everybody's like silent. Walks out, and I hear like disappointing comments, and I'm like,
what are they saying?
This is not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
And going back to Shakespeare, like not everybody's like, accustomed to Shakespeare. You respect it, but you may not like really understand it,
So is there like a specific, going all the way back to maybe as the early 1900s, was there a type of era that you found the most intriguing?
No, it was all jumped around. I respect all of it. I mean, I may not have been a fan or did like a lot of research on it, but like the ones that kind of stuck out, including Romeo and Juliet, Caesar, God, there's so much more I can't really think of the top of my head. But yeah, no, just the whole Shakespeare aspect was just kind of like the upbringing of theater, the whole dramatic wise. So,
well, yeah. To give you an idea, like I found big fascination of when musical production of movies in mainstream was at its prime. So we're talking about the days of Mary Poppins, Singing in the Rain, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. You had Sound of Music.
Got it.
It was fascinating because at that time it was something that big name actors did. They had to sing, they had to dance, and act in various scenes. But these days, when you look at musicals today, sometimes it is mostly glossed over, where people are like, oh, that's corny now. But then again, I kind of blame High School Musical for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of hard work and art that goes to it.
Yeah, it is successful in Broadway live stage. It's a time when it's still very respected and it's doing really well. But on mainstream these days, it's kind of hard to kind of get that over, because it was a time that was once at its prime, but trying to get it to click with a modern audience, that's the biggest struggle.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess if we're really kind of like narrowing that kind of thing down, I really like Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, good.
Is that something? I don't know.
Yeah, that is a good one, because it's I think it's one of the last silent films that were actually, I'm just guessing that it was one of the last silent films. I don't think it was of all time, but it was something that has been very huge on a scale such as Universal expected. And a lot of
they've made a lot of adaptations to it, and I've kind of like I found every adaptation pretty interesting, and because I don't know, they brought something different in every single adaptation, especially like the live Broadway shows. And I found that intriguing because of the way people see something like that.
It's a very interesting ending too with a black and white film, because I never thought that the monster would meet its end after a mob just chases him to the edge of the flowing river. He falls in, and they're like, he's dead. How do you know?
Part 2.
What if he can swim? Or he grabbed something as he was floating by. But anyway,
this is when they underestimated the villains back then.
I could give a warning, spoiler alert, but I don't think people would have the patience to sit through a silent film with background music for. I think the running time was definitely over an hour 30.
Well, you don't have to worry. That's like me telling somebody the ending to Return of the Jedi, and they're like, "What?"
Or Titanic.
Wow, Titanic.
I don't know.
Man.
I really don't know.
Well, actually, I know people who didn't watch Titanic. It's almost laughable.
Is it people who did not watch? Yes.
Oh. Yeah. Swan hasn't seen it,
but you at least know the history of it, right, Swan? Okay, good.
Okay.
So, yeah, it doesn't go very well. When did you begin collecting DVDs and Blu-rays?
So I mean, I had my own VHS tapes. My family would buy me a few now and then, and I'd always like stick with like the same like tiny little collections of VHS tapes, including Jurassic Park. No, I don't. I wish I did. I think I have Passion of the Christ at home.
Of all things.
Of all things, I think the only VHS. I don't know. I was going through my stuff
right.
last month, and I was just like, why do I still have the VHS of Passion of the Christ?
Come to think of it, this is a shock to me because I think Passion of the Christ was what, 2005?
2004, yeah.
2004. Back then, we still had VHS tapes.
Yeah. I think I didn't jump on the DVD bandwagon till Jeepers Creepers 2, so that was like 2003.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Even I was a late bloomer only because I only adapted to whenever my parents thought it was time, because I was living with them. So as soon as they got their DVD player, that's when I started to care more about the DVDs, and then eventually when I got a Blu-ray player, that's when I started to care about Blu-rays. So I got both.
Same.
Yeah. All the same. Cool.
Too bad there's no like VHS / Blu-ray player, because the Blu-ray player already plays DVDs. So that would have been amazing if we got a Blu-ray player / VHS tapes.
Wow.
Could you imagine? Oh my god, I would have one.
So I did notice that one of your favorite things to do is to go down to maybe like a Walmart or a Target, and then you actually go through those $5 bins. But I gotta know, are you the type of collector who loves to collect any title depending on the cover art and things like that, or are you a little bit more selective with what you buy?
I'm a little bit more selective with what I buy, and I think, I don't know, maybe I don't have that much money. I mean, I have another friend, Aaron.
Hey.
I have another friend, Aaron, who collects just to collect. But then for me, like sometimes, trust me, I haven't seen a lot of classics, and so I haven't seen a lot of like great movies that I've missed out that are like that are not mainstream. So sometimes when I go through like the $6 bin, and I see like a movie that's like really big in name to some people, but like I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that. Then I end up going to I end up blind buying it. Sometimes I end up getting surprised, or I'm like, oh, there was so much hype, Go
ahead. Yeah. These
So
are some of his favorite collectibles.
So this is a Criterion movie called Dazed and Confused. A lot of you have seen this, and I recently saw it this past month. And this has got to be, without doubt, this has one of my all-time favorite soundtracks to a movie. Every single track that's played in this movie, just phenomenal. I love it.
Who was the artist that provided the tracks to this film?
That is a really good question.
I don't know the name, but I know what it sounds.
Gosh darn it, there's nothing in here that would tell me.
That's okay, we can do it like Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
I only recognize it through the sound of the music.
Yeah, it's just the things that you... Wait, Crash Cruise... Oh my god. This is gonna...
Okay, what genre is it? Mostly rock?
It's it's rock. Yeah, pretty much rock. It's just... Yeah, it's that genre.
Cool. And so what else do you have there?
This is kind of like one that kind of really stuck with me other than Jurassic Park, but Back to the Future.
Great Scott!
Now, this was also one that kind of like... this is like one of my first picks when I converged into the Blu-ray era, and it's only because... Like the last time I saw it was on VHS, and like you know how you see like old VHS tapes, and you watch like the version of the movie.
Oh yeah.
And the way they did this Blu-ray was just so phenomenal. It almost looked like the movie was made yesterday. And like the sound was just amazing, and there's like so much features which I haven't had the chance to dive into, but just so much depth, so much like effort and work that is put into a movie nowadays, especially movies that weren't technologically upgraded as the ones that we see today.
Well, of the three, which one was your favorite?
As cliche as it is, I'm going to say one.
Really?
I have to say one. It's only because that's the one I really grew up watching the most.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so I'm just like so used to like, it stands alone apart from it feeling like there needs to be a continuation at the end. Yeah.
My favorite was number 2, only because
I respect that.
As a kid, I was fascinated by the elements of the future, 2016. For those who haven't wondering, if you've seen Team 4 Stars Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Thank you for getting the reference. So,
hey, no, the sequel is actually one of my favorite sequels of all time, actually.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love the way that you got to see like the future, and it's so funny how we kind of like crossed that barrier of what the year 2015 or 2016.
It was 2016, and October. What was Back to the Future Day again, Swan? October 10th, 2016.
Yeah.
So it was it influenced me, or it entertained me so much that for in intermediate school, I think it was 8th grade, we had to do a presentation of what we think the future was like, and I actually believe that we would have flying cars in the future. Not as early as 2016, but I believed it was going to happen sometime further than that.
It was a good shot. It was a good shot. It was a good shot.
Saying that gas stations will be on roofs. Because you don't need to land on ground. You can just land on someone's roof, like how we got helicopter landing.
So that's what Santa Claus does. He refuels his reindeer.
Yeah. with garbage that you can convert into biofuel.
Oh my God, that was also a really mind-blowing thing. I was like, oh my God, can you imagine not having to pay for fuel? I'll just find random garbage in the trash can, throw it in my car, and I'm good to go.
And the conversion mechanism was made from a makeshift food processor.
Oh my God, yes. But no, 2 was actually one of my favorite sequels of all time, and I really like how like this entire trilogy, it was so it's a genre blend, and I love it. I mean, it was action packed and like a sci-fi comedic element to it, and it was very suspenseful. I mean, especially like the last half of the movie when they go back to where they went back to the future, and I was like, what? This is happening, that's happening, there's 2 Martys, there's 2...
Yeah, they went back to 1955 and stuff.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So what else do you have there?
Oh, so going back to the Jurassic Park thing, swan looking. I got this limited edition Jurassic World set with the Indominus and the Tyrannosaurus Rex figures in there.
Gorgeous.
And this was really hard to come by, especially on Maui, so only Costco sold it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, Costco sold it. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna buy this online.
I have lucked out.
Yeah, I know. This was like $70, I think, and it came with your collectible can. I'm not a huge fan of this.
Yeah, because it's tin and...
Yeah, I can't stick this with the rest of my collection, so I have to like put it somewhere else. And it comes with the authenticity of the figures, so it shows you how rare that is. Ooh.
Does it say how many of them were produced? I don't see any number. No. It's just saying that what you have is real.
Yeah, what you have is real. Don't worry.
It's like, yeah, as if I didn't believe you before.
Wouldn't have bought it.
Yeah, it's in an official box and it's in Costco. Why would they sell knockoff goods?
I know, right? With that much of a price.
Yep.
Ooh, and going back to my Halloween horror genre spin, it's all the Halloween movies, including the remakes, all on Scream Factory, and this is one of the first Scream Factory collector's editions that I've owned. This is a deluxe edition, so they all come with a 40-book page, and it comes with black casing of all its original posters, which I thought was really cool. And also, if you guys seen Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, which is like the first horror movie that I mentioned that I watched, yes, it had Paul Rudd in it. Paul Rudd was your main lead character. This comes, yeah, Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd. Oh my God! If you watch this movie, Paul Rudd, his acting was like so stiff, but he's like this young, good-looking like Murph guy.
So that's how he got his role.
Yeah, that's probably how he got his role. And he's Mr. Good-looking. He tries to be serious, but he has like a little humor in him. Oh. So he doesn't go full humor yet. And he's in this. And this deluxe edition, it releases the producer's cut, which was never seen since its original release. So this is the first time they ever put it out, was on Blu-ray, and I think the only reason why they never put the producer's cut out is because there was a lot of things in the movie that the producer and the director disagreed upon. Otherwise, like, the whole ending's different. The whole like play out, like there's alternative scenes and things that you kind of like love and hate. and it's kind of great that both of them coexist in this one collection.
Oh, neat.
So, I mean, like, yeah, different versions, and it's respectable. It's not the greatest installment, but it's something.
All right, and your other pieces?
Also got this Friday the 13th set.
Is that 10 as well?
It's 10.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's 10.
Go ahead. This one also comes with a book, with a band. I told the others they don't believe me. You're all doomed. Also comes with the Crystal Lake Memories, a little photo book of all the entire films. And they also come with those the original 3D glasses for the third movie, because you can watch that installment. And I added all this by myself. So, and it also comes with a little embedded patch.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I threw these in. So apparently, the Jason Goes to Hell DVD is one of the first unrated, I guess, DVD cuts they ever put out.
Right.
And I didn't know what unrated was back then. I was like, so it comes with R-rated and unrated versions. What's the difference? So I didn't know what that was back then. And then when I'm watching both versions, I'm like, there seems to be more sex in this one.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so I was like they haven't put that one out on Blu-ray, so I just decided to throw that one in.
Is unrated often associated with director's cut? Because it seems like they just switched the terminology, but they have the same meaning.
I feel like the terminology gets mixed up through advertisement. So usually a director's cut is the original vision that the director wanted to express to you, not regarding what the writers did, what the studio wanted, but it's strict own cut without any other influence, just strictly the directors. An unrated cut is pretty much them like beating the MPAA. So sometimes there's a little more sex, a little more graphic violence, and maybe like some material that was just kind of pushing the R rating. Like for example, if you've seen Marvel's The Avengers, there was actually an article about how one little scene could have made it rated R.
Interesting.
And that was the way that Coulson died, because there was different variations of how Joss Whedon shot Coulson's death, and apparently the MPAA was like, you know what, this thing's gonna make it rated R, you gotta do something about it. So they did weird, like I guess like a few edit trims, and that's how they were able to get their PG-13 rating. I'm like, that was it. So, the MPAA is really a stick up the butt, so that's why unrated cuts and director's cuts exist, and I find that really amazing, because, you get to see, whose vision, and that's kind of up to your choice of what you like.
All right, and so the last one?
Last one is Marvel's Avengers, the first MCU Phase 1. My friend Aaron Medeiros gave this one to me. Has a whole bunch of little neat stuff in it. I haven't really looked at them, but
so it comes in a
briefcase.
Briefcase, that's good.
Yeah. Oh my God, what do we have here? So, and if you have the 2-disc collector's editions already, I would probably keep the second disc if you plan to get this.
Oh my God, it lights up!
It lights up!
It's the first time I'm seeing it too.
I kept all my I kept all my my second discs from the original separate versions that came out, because they only give you the 1-discer ones, and it comes with like these nice art sleeves. Iron Man, Incredible Hulk. Yeah.
Nice.
And we're gonna spend a little time on this because I'm gonna pull out all the files that they really put some effort into it. It's like, oh my God, all this is coming out.
Yep. We got about 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Yep.
Okay, let's get right to it. If you want to look over with this with me, we got...
Oh yeah, sure.
We got some files there.
So check it out. It actually has like a little bit of mock patina on it, or should I say water stains. Who left a ring on there from their mugs? But so we got Tony Stark's file, and in it, oh my gosh, we got blueprints of the core that's inside of his chest. What's it called? I forgot the name. I'm sorry.
The Tesseract? No.
And then we have
Arc Reactor?
We have a little newspaper article that's folded in half. That's cool. Files for the Shield, Agents of Shield.
You want to grab that one? Yeah, Agents of Shield.
Physical exam sheets for
I got
Steve
Agent Coulson's card right here, and the Tesseract. We've got files on Barton, and your agents, basic agents.
Dr. Banner Bruce. Oh my goodness. I love the mock news clips that they.
Yeah.
Well, not news
This
clips.
is awesome.
News articles that were clipped.
I got Thor's
Hospital
band. And I got Natalie Portman's ID badge. Anybody want to break into stuff? And drawings and oh my god, they even ripped out a book. This is illegal. Oh, savages. But yeah, some pretty neat stuff in here.
All right, cool. I'd say that this is definitely one of the coolest. It's one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. I'm just gonna get right down to it because they put a lot of attention to detail and care in. So this definitely is the best special edition box set that I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
All right, so that will be all for today. Big thanks to Jaren for coming on to the show. And for people who do want to check out your 30-second reviews, what's it called?
It is just you go hashtag Jaren's movie reviews. I haven't given anything
on Instagram.
I haven't given it anything cool. So yeah, if you go on Instagram and type in Jaren's movie reviews, that's Jaren and just S at the very end of it. So
awesome. And so big thanks to Maui Comics and Collectibles. Follow the store on Facebook and Instagram at Maui Comics. If you did enjoy this episode of Tuesday Morning Shenanigans and you would love to see more into the future, like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, or if you have a random question that you would love to see some of us answer in the next episode, leave it in the comment section. We will get to it. Also, for figure reviews and more, do follow the Rave Corner. It is myfavorite.blogspot.com, where I review Godzilla figures, Transformers figures, and many more. So until then, thank you for watching this episode. I will see you next time.